Okay, so there was one other topic that I wanted to talk to you about. If you didn't see my video that I just did, go back and look at the October 4th video. I wanted to talk about the Million Person March in Canada. Didn't get much airwaves on mainstream media, go figure. They had an estimated 4 million people that marched across the country. And that was, again, an introduction to show that we can have peaceful marches where, the opposition, which were the unions, they were so nasty in Victoria, BC, that the police couldn't guarantee the safety of the parents. Can you imagine? And the children there. And the police couldn't guarantee their safety. So it had to be shut down because the union members were so aggressive and were becoming on the edge of violence. So I wanted to talk about that a little bit because I have some inside information that I discovered in 1998. I was the first voice in Canada to speak up against against pedophilia. I was speaking up to protect children. And I found an organization that was absolutely heinous. And it was out of the States mainly, but it was in Europe as well. And, they were worldwide. And they were called North American. And it was a relationship between man and boy. And it ended with association. So put all of that together, and it spells NAM, and then a B, and an L, and an A. And I have to do all of this encrypted baloney because of, you know why, right? I want this video to get out there. Anyways, I joined this organization online, and I became Thomas, I think it was Stevenson or Henderson or something like that. I picked a fictitious name. And it was mainly men that were part of this organization. So I got all of their paraphernalia, their literature in the mail. And what came to me was criminal. So I brought it to the police, and the police didn't do a damn thing. And this is 1998, it would have been around 2000. They sent me information of who they were, the accomplishments that they had, and what their agenda was. And their agenda was to teach adult males how to GROO and then an M, children, and how to do things that are satisfying to themselves sexually, but being on the border of being legal or illegal, like how to suck the toes of children to get off. It was really weird stuff that came to me. Not came to me, like spiritually, came to me in the mail from this organization. It was weird. But one of the things that really got me in my research of them was that they were so proud of the fact that they were the ones in the 70s that started the movement to bring sex and then education into our educational system. And their whole motive was to be able to talk to little ones about what their greatest interest is, the 3 letters, and be able to say, hey, what did you learn at school? Oh, you learned that. Well, you know that you can do this and you can do that. It opens up the conversation and it takes the innocence away from the kids. And this is all being an agenda. This is all being planned for decades, right? It started like in the 50s, I think, 40s or 50s. And they were full-blown by the 70s, infiltrated all the political systems, and it just has grown from there to the point that we are where we are at. So when they're saying, oh no, it's just, the the beautiful colors of that spectrum, right? It's not that at all. There is an agenda behind all of this, and it has been decades in the works. And it is to muddy the waters and create confusion and to take the innocence away and to get kids talking about this so that the pedovores can then speak openly with children and say, oh, so you learned about 2 letters today, a B, and then it ends with a J. You learned about that today? And I'm not joking. I mean, 10, 15 years ago when my kids were in school, my daughter, oh no, it'd be even more. My daughter was in grade 3 or grade 4, and they were starting to learn sex ed, and that upset me that it was at that age, because she was still innocent, 8, 9 years old. Come on now. Does she really need to know? No. I knew the background, especially at that time, and I knew what they were doing was infiltrating the school system. So, anyways, and that's a whole nother story. I went into the school. I got so upset because my daughter came home and she said, they learned about these 2 letters. And I was like, what? You learned about that at school? And she goes, yeah. I said, well, was it part of the curriculum? And she goes, no, but there was a question and answer period, and the teacher felt that she had to be absolutely truthful about whatever was asked. In fact, they were instructed on that. Whatever the kids ask, you have to answer it openly. And these are like the English teachers and the regular teachers just giving sex ed as another part of their curriculum. So one of the little boys, question period, he was like, what is it? The 2 letters, B, and then the other letter. And what is that about? And so the teacher described point by point to 8-year-olds, some were 9, about how to do it, what it's about, what people feel with it. I mean, in great detail. I went into the school. That program was altered for a little while. But here we are today. I look at this and go, wow, I know this organization is going, woo-hoo, we have been successful. This is all part of a greater plan to sexualize children. We have a PETA organization that is combined with carnivores, and it is far more evil is the word that comes to mind than what anyone is really thinking. I think it's time that we actually spoke about this, because they're moving too fast forward, and they're taking advantage of humanity's good nature. They're altering our children's innocence and their future. And they're opening up doors for themselves because they're opportunists. And that's what they do. By making it mainstream, making transgenerational sex acceptable, where a 50-year-old can have sex with a 12-year-old, or in Canada, a 14-year-old now. Yeah, it's criminal. It should be. I fought very hard to change those laws, and Trudeau comes in, and with a wave of his hand, he reversed a lot of laws that I worked decades to bring in to protect kids. I believe that some of our politicians, if not all, should be removed from office through passive resistance. And that's simply just showing up and saying, out you go. And they'll say, no, go back to work. Nope, out you go. We're not going anywhere until you leave. They will try everything, sit down, sit in, sing, be joyful, bring your guitars, but do not stand up and allow them to walk you to the paddy wagon. You make them lift you, tire their arms, make their hearts heavy, because their conscience, by having to physically lift you or spray you or create sound that makes you move, it has to affect their conscience if they are humans. We have to understand our power, and our power is in numbers. And we have to say no to this agenda that is in our school systems. So when the unions are caught doing what they're doing, which is criminal, and then they actually show up and become so aggressive that the police can't guarantee the safety of parents and children on the streets, that's when all of us need to show up and say enough. And bring your guitars and sing along, and sing so loud that it drowns them out. They may try to knock us over the heads as we sit down. If there's enough of us, they will run, because they'll understand they're outnumbered. We're not going to let this organization do to our children what they've been planning for decades, not for another day. Our time is now. Our children's time is running out if we don't stand up by sitting down. I really worry for where their future is going. I believe, going back to the end of the Mayan calendar, I believe this is a time of change. This is when AI is becoming introduced on a whole new scale. And I believe where we're going is not great. We will become sterilized. We will become robotic. We will become transhuman. And that's not our best outcome, where we can't even give birth anymore because we don't have compassion, we don't have love, we don't have emotions, and we are simply machines, transhuman machines. Is that really what you want for your children? We have to say no to how easy it is to use the AI online. It's a slippery slope. I know that we can write books and we can do some amazing things with it, but it's dumbing down humanity. And it's not the way that we need to go in order to save our species. Don't let this organization allow our children to be anything else than what children should be. Innocent, enjoying, using their imagination, finding the wonders in this world, and believing in miracles. Be that miracle. Stand up by sitting down. Have some sit-ins. And if there is another 1 million person march, Dan will show up.